College football is back. So back. We're all the way back. Look, we got 17 football games tonight. We got a great slate on Friday, a packed slate on Sunday or Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, and then one on Monday. I mean, it is just football. And we're going to talk about them all here on the Pigskin Preview. If you couldn't tell, I'm a little fired up, Mr. Luckett. Well, I can't contain it. And I'm excited that we get to talk about them all on the Pigskin Preview presented by Bet MGM. How are we feeling today, Luckett? Did you wake up feeling different this morning?
Yeah, still recovering from my little procedure. So that has not been fun. But, one of the first things I told my wife today was like, I'm going to the basement tonight once the boys go to bed. We're going to the basement. We're setting it up. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year, 5 straight days of college football. And we get to start it off Thursday with maybe not the greatest slate, but we got a couple interesting games there.
Yeah.
I think. So it's going to be a fun time. It starts at I love the little 5:30 start with South Florida and Boise State.
Love it.
It feels like a perfect 5:30 game. So yeah, and then we get a couple late games. So yeah, I'm
Rutgers, Ohio. It's 6. It's one of those where I do love, we're after dark degenerates, and some of that is just part of the job, right? Like, it's long day of work. You get home and it's 1 a.m. and Utah and Utah State are in some weird game that's unfolding at 1 a.m. But I do love that they're basically saying, we're going to make the big games, the after dark games, we're just going to start them at 9 o'clock. Because I want to start by saying I'm really disappointed that Marcus Satterfield did what we all knew he would do, but he couldn't hang around long enough to give us a Satterfield Bowl. We were so close. We were so close, but he had to get fired in the middle of his second season because he is terrible. And honestly, I mean, Matt Rule is probably the reason why Shane Beamer is still a South Carolina coach, because he poached Beamer's terrible offensive coordinator from him, and it changes the trajectory of the Gamecocks program. Well, Norris Sellers is a projected number 1 overall draft pick next year. That wouldn't happen if Satterfield was still at South Carolina. He would be taken in Columbia. Instead, he tanked in Lincoln. And, man, I want to have action on that game, but I just have no feel at all. The Nebraska is such a public play.
Yeah.
And it's 6.5.
They're terrible as a favorite.
Yeah. I just can't. But am I gonna walk to the window and bet on a Scott Satterfield football team to cover a 1-score game? No.
Yeah. It's a player prop game. I like Sorsby a lot, Cincinnati's quarterback. Mm-hmm. So you look at kind of his player props. You can get Dane Key, Nick, anytime touchdown plus 130 here on Bet MGM.
I thought 60 receiving yards was pretty tasty.
Yeah, and let's look here because the thing with Cincinnati, their running game is like a big question mark. So Sorsby is probably going to have to air it out a lot this year. I'm trying to see if I can find some passing yards here. Still getting used to, here we go, passing. Sorsby, 215.5, minus 115. I like that a lot. Over 215.5. That might be my play of that game. Brendan Sorsby, over 215.5 passing yards. But that's where I would be looking here. I think this game has a chance to be, I'm not an overplayer, and you good people know that. But I think this game has a chance to where you could see both teams get into high 20s, low 30s. Potentially. The total's 51.5 here.
Yeah, that the one that is just Miami of Ohio is traveling to Wisconsin, and that total is 40.5 at BetMGM. 40.5? I mean, it's not quite traditional Iowa territory, but 40.5 is it's one of those that's so low it makes me want to play the under. Like it. I don't know if you feel that way too, but God, it feels so good to be back. Just to look at the board and all of the games we have here.
Well, they're just getting us ready for Iowa State next week.
Oh gosh, that'll be like 14-17, and that's a shootout.
They both have good quarterbacks this year, but maybe no receivers on either of those teams. Yeah. Can't wait to watch that one.
I woke up and I deposited in my BetMGM account and I started firing away on my futures. Make sure if you haven't, I know we did our win
this week. Yep.
We did our win totals a couple weeks ago, but like make sure you get those in because I was scrolling through your column, Luckett. Did you get an Iowa State in before week 0? Because that
sure did. I actually did something different this year, Nick. I try to limit my parlay action just because I feel like, it's a waste of time, waste of money.
Yeah.
But I started thinking this year, I was like, this is what I do best. These should be the stuff I'm taking swings on, right? So I've got a 6-teamer cooked up that's like 300 to 1. And already, like, the odds are good because Iowa State won that first game. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let me pull up the odds. I'll tell you what the odds are. And I'll even share that with you all in case you want to put it in there. Because I was like, why not? What are we doing? Let's have some fun here. We got a big payday potentially for Christmas. Can buy a Bengals AFC Championship shirt or something with this money.
Oh, okay. I know a lot of people, they like to do the parlay, the conference championship winners, which I feel like is a fun way to juice up. Like you're basically like, people pick their Final Fours in the preseason, so you might as well parlay them together to get some crazy odds on it. So this is something similar.
This is 60 to 1. 60 to 1 we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa State over 7.5, Pitt over 6.5, Rutgers over 5 or under Rutgers under 5.5. Bobcats get us a nice win there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
UCF under 5.5, which is probably my favorite play of the 10 I put
of
out
the
there.
Win totals.
Yeah. Virginia Tech over 6.5. They've got a season win total over game this weekend. Like if they win that game,
yeah, you feel great about it. Over. Yeah.
And then Virginia under 6.5. So those are my 60 to 1. We're off to a good start so far. And we'll see how it goes. And it'll probably be decided Thanksgiving weekend.
You've inspired me. I'm going to have to because I used to do the thing too where I would invest heavily in my win totals because it's like a season long bet, but I just can't have that much money just stashed up. We can't be waiting around that long, but I do like your parlay idea. With at least 3 or 4 of those, right? Because you can't get Iowa State anymore. So, he's probably like 50 to 1, but still you might as well take a swing, right? That's what this time of the year is for. It's for taking a swing and it's for making this season legendary. Let's have a legendary season with BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM, do it right now. Use promo code ON3 and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Just download the BetMGM app. Use the sign-up bonus ON3. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. And you can receive up to 1,500 bonus bets if your bet loses. You got to use those bets within 7 days. But whatever that bet you're going to make, you're feeling good about it. Even if it loses, you're going to get that money back. Like it. This isn't in the ad read. This is just us having a conversation. You dabble in Las Vegas, right? Head there time to time?
Yeah, we're actually going again in February, but yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. This isn't just me telling you to download the BetMGM app and use promo code ON3 because we're sharing that product. BetMGM has rewards. Rewards that I may or may not know somebody who used this app for football season to pay for their trip to Vegas. Because you wager enough, they hook you up at the Grand, right? MGM's got a lot of properties out there in Vegas. That's the kind of rewards you can deal with. It's not yes, they do have like special tokens to help get you, little upgrades on parlays. But the real rewards, you can get nights in Vegas paid for with the BetMGM app. So what are you doing? Don't waste any more time. Download the BetMGM app today. Get in on the action, the college football action this fall. Use promo code ON3, up to $1,500 in bonus bets back on your first wager at BetMGM. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. or 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY or call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, or 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Don't forget, sign up for BetMGM, promo code ON3 for $1,500 first bet offer today. Mr. Luckett, we touched a little bit on tonight. Do you have a play for Thursday night that you like?
Yeah, I'm jumping on Buffalo plus 17.5.
Love it. Love it.
There's a lot of talk here locally about Toledo being the MAC favorite, and they are, but Buffalo's probably if you're going to have a co-favorite, they might be the co-favorite in that conference. 9-4 last year with Pete Limbo. They've been good, and there's some trends here backing me up. Minnesota's 2-5-1 against the spread in week 1 under PJ Fleck. Buffalo's 9-3 ATS in their last 12 against the Big Ten. Minnesota's breaking in a brand new starting quarterback, redshirt freshman here. It's a lot of points. Minnesota's not known as an offensive juggernaut, right? So I think, if Buffalo gets to anything over 14, I think they cover the spread. So
I would like to add that whenever I listen to or watch any sort of preseason college football action show, Buffalo was a very popular season win total over pick because of what they have returning. Like, you're right about Toledo, but a lot of Toledo Buffalo is the preseason pick for the MAC title game. And I know that people believe that this is the year that PJ Fleck is really rowing the boat to kind of being the cream that rises to the top among that middle of the Big Ten. But 17.5 is a lot, and that, especially with that hook. So I love the hook. I'm going to be a rider. I'm going to ride on the Buffs. I didn't have a play that I felt strongly about tonight, but I'm curious to hear about the play that you feel strongly about on Friday night. It is one of, I think, the most underrated games of the weekend. It's Auburn and it's Baylor. Primetime on Fox. Shout out to YouTube TV for figuring it out, because
imagine that.
Oh, yeah, right.
They're just like the Bengals. They just figure it out the last minute. Oh, wow. The guys got paid. Can't believe they did this.
My thing is, when doing this job, I've become fascinated by the Auburn football program for all of the yakety sacks that are involved. But I really like the talent they've assembled. Conversely, the way that Baylor ended last season, I believe it was 6 straight wins. The quarterback really got it rocking and rolling. I always forget his name, but it's in Waco. So, there's part of me that's like, this is a big year for Dave Aranda. They could be the plucky, fun Big 12 team. What if Hugh Freeze just falls apart? So I want to have some action in this game. I don't know how to feel. How do you feel about this game, Mr. Luckett?
Yeah, there's going to be a common trend in these picks, and we'll have some dogs in the column, but we're not going to have dogs today. We're going to have a lot of small favorites here today. And these are all teams I'm just high on entering the season. So I'm going to take what I think is value here. I'm taking Auburn minus 2.5. I think it's down to 2 right now at BetMGM, so you can actually get an even better price. Basically, Nick, I think this Auburn roster is awesome. I think their offensive line is really good. I think their defense is top 15 good. I think they have a guy who could win Defensive Player of the Year in Keldrick Falk. I think this receiving core is absolutely stacked. I think it's the best wide receiver core in the college football. And it's just on Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold not to screw this up. You've got the roster. Go win some games. This is a team that should win 9 to 10 games, and if things break right, they can go win. They can legitimately contend for a national title this year, I believe. So I'm getting a small amount. I'm laying small amount here, minus 2.5 at Baylor. They can go a little bit on offense, but I seriously doubt they're going to be able to stop this Auburn offense over a 4-quarter game. So I'm a believer preseason in the Tigers. So I'm gonna invest in them here. So give me Auburn minus 2.5 to start our Friday night.
I think the point that you hit is the most important one, and it's the one that'll be the most overlooked, is just the offensive line. Because as much as you make about the injuries at wide receiver last year, I would like to think that Jackson Arnold would be able to hit just anybody running routes if he had a second to throw the football, and he did not at Oklahoma. And, guys like Cole Kubelik are talking about this being one of the best offensive lines at Auburn in a decade or so. And that's, I think, is the real key factor here. So I just, I'm like the average Joe idiot where I get kind of caught up in all of the other stuff with Auburn.
It's fun, but if you just, I really do mean this. If you just look and just go through the roster, and you're just like, it really takes you back the roster. Some of the players they have on this roster, that receiver group is absolutely
studs,
stacked. Like, it's just stacked. They're gonna like I think we're gonna look up and be like, oh, of course this offense is good because they got all these NFL receivers out here running around.
I gotta admit, Luckett, I did not anticipate being this SEC heavy in my picks, but like, it's what I know. It's what I focused on, and you know what, Peak, you don't have to pull up last year's record again on the YouTube. Like, no, just come on. You don't have to expose me. But last year was a rough gambling year. 15-27 official pick. It was my worst year ever.
40%.
Hey, but you know what, Luckett? It just means we're due for a bounce back. And
yeah, I've had those years too, no doubt.
And it's one of those where I feel like I've always hovered around 50. Last year really took me to the woodshed because those were only the official picks. We did some chasing on tilt a few times, but I did stick with the SEC because I feel like that's what I know well. And I'm just not buying all the way into Blake Shapen right away because that guy missed 9 games last season. And now they're starting off traveling to Hattiesburg. It wasn't that long ago where Southern Miss considered itself on equal footing. Now, that's necessarily not the case anymore with the other SEC schools, but they are a very proud program that's got a new head coach that brought all of his best players from the Sun Belt champs down to Southern Miss. This game's in Hattiesburg. And my big thing, Luckett, with this game is just mentally. Where's each team, right? There's a lot of pressure on Jeff Lebby. I don't think to be perfect right away, but they're Mississippi freaking State. They better go and kick their ass. What happens if Southern Miss punches them in the mouth? This thing's close for a little bit. I don't really like the talent they have in the wide receiver room. I mean, they lost Kevin Coleman, who's a great athlete, who just loves going in the portal every single year. But I feel like there's a lot for me to prove from Mississippi State where I think Charles Huff is going to have all of those guys pulling on the same rope. I kind of want to buy the hook, but I'm not a coward. But I will take Southern Miss to keep this thing close and to make everybody feel a little shaky down in Hattiesburg in opening weekend. Ultimately, Mississippi State probably survives with like a 7 to 10 point win. But I just can't foresee this Mississippi State team blowing anybody out. I don't care if Southern Miss only won one game last year.
Nick Roush, you're a wild and crazy son of a gun for 2 reasons. Maybe more than 2 reasons, but I'm going to give you 2 reasons right now.
Hit me.
I don't know how you go to the window and bet this game, like on either side. Like I don't know how you do it. Like both of these teams just totally overturned the roster through the portal. You're betting on like this Marshall transplant kind of working, but Southern Miss was the worst team in college football, arguably last year. Mississippi State, it was a disaster, and they totally flipped their roster. So you're just
that's my point. It's a disaster. Give me the points. That's 2 touchdowns.
And the second reason you're a wild and crazy son of a gun is because you went 14-27 last year, but in a lot of those games you bet the opposite. So you would give a pick, and then you would tell me, I played the other side. I could have had to play the other side. So I really think you're just going to play Mississippi State minus 13.5 here.
No, I have the bet slip. I have the bet slip already. I already logged my picks. And I'm doing things that I'm like betting this is a little wild and crazy. This is how I dig myself out of the hole. I'm a little unconventional. My next pick is the most anti-Roush pick ever. So we'll get to that here in a moment. But Luckett, I need you to share your second.
Yeah, we're going to the after dark window Saturday night.
Here
for the second pick, late night. We get to see the volleyball player in his natural element out in Los Angeles at the Rose Bowl. It's an old Pac-12 rivalry, but now it's a Big 12, Big 10 non-conference game. Utah, Nick, is a team I have winning the Big 12 and going to the playoff. And then Kyle Whittingham riding off in the sunset. I like this offensive kind of New Mexico offensive transplant. They did. I'm going to lay the 5.5 here with the Utes. That's floating out there. I just like it. And Utah owned the series when these two teams were playing in the Pac-12. And I have doubts about UCLA. So give me the Utes in a big bounce back year. I think they get off to a strong start. I think they win this one by double digits there in Pasadena.
Ooh, but I think this is really important, though, that our listeners need to know. Is Cam Rising going to play this weekend?
He's not. Devin Dampier is going to be a name a lot of people are going to get familiar with. He's really exciting dual threat quarterback.
Arizona? No.
He was at New Mexico last year.
Okay.
And so they brought him and the offensive coordinator with him to Utah.
Wait, didn't New Mexico beat UCLA last year? Who did they? They got a big upset last year, didn't they?
They played Auburn close. They played a lot of teams close, and they went 5-7.
Yeah, that was one of those games that I don't know if I randomly bet, but was up late to watch and see if they could. It was Washington State that they pulled off the upset at the end of the year. That was just a fun, thrilling game. They ended up winning down at the wire, but ultimately couldn't get bowl eligible. Love that you got some after dark action for us. I've got action on a game that I don't think I'll necessarily watch. And here's the other part too. I'm not necessarily high on the team to cover this big number, but it goes back to honestly, Luckett, I just have off-season hunches, and one was with Southern Miss, and the other one was Marshall. I think Marshall's going to stink. I think they're going to be awful, and I think they're going to walk into a buzzsaw at Georgia where they can just name their score. Mike Bobo is an interesting character down at Georgia. I don't even know what to compare him to around Big Blue Nation. He's not, because it's such a adversarial relationship, but they kind of like him. I don't even know who I could come close to comparing it to. But it does feel like, hey, this is the year we've got all the wide receivers, and we're breaking in this new quarterback. I think they're going to try to let Gunnar Stockton just get into a rhythm and unload. The Georgia we thought of the past is going to lean in their run game. They're not doing that this year. So this is a game for Georgia to get comfortable. I think they could name their score, and 40 points is just this feels like 56-3 or 7 or something like that. So I normally don't like betting these unless I'm betting on Penn State to cover a huge number and James Franklin. But I'm going to bet on Georgia this weekend to just absolutely make roughshod over Marshall.
Got some trends working against you here.
I know, but they got to prove something, Luckett. They got to prove something. Mike Bobo doesn't normally score a lot of points, but this has to, because you can agree with me that Georgia's going to have to win differently this year, right? Is that fair to say?
What do you mean by that, I guess?
Well, the run the ball awesome defense isn't this. It's a different formula for this Georgia football team.
I think your selling point in this game would be Georgia's got these new shiny toys at wide receiver.
Yeah, we got to use
Kirby let them run.
Right.
But what's the total in this game? 48?
Something like that. I don't have it pulled up in front of me. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'm scrolling.
55.5.
Yeah, okay. So Georgia 8-0, 8 consecutive unders have cashed in week 1. Marshall is 8-2 in their last 10 openers against the spread. And the big one here, Nick, Kirby Smart has never covered a spread this big. Spread's 38 and over. He's 0-4.
Hey, there's a first time for everything, all right? First time for everything.
I think your bet here really is Georgia scores 40+, and then Marshall is so bad that they can't do anything on offense.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. This is a good time to remind you too. If you subscribe to KSR Plus and KS Board, you can get all of Luckett's ATS trends, so that I'm not getting just railroaded when we go live on YouTube.
They're there for you to read too.
No, usually I do. Usually I do. Today I'm going full Roush. Just hook me up.
I mean, these are just total Roush picks here, like
all over the place.
The first board we've got Southern Miss plus 13.5 at home against an SEC team, and then Georgia, Kirby Smart laying a big number, he's never covered in his career.
Just wait until you get to pick 3 like it.
I think you're on the right side in pick 3, but we'll get to that shortly. My final pick, Nick, we're going to the Monday. Got to have some action on this Monday game.
I know, but it's tough, man. The Sunday game is tougher. The Sunday night is tougher, in my opinion. But nevertheless, I digress.
I'm going to lay the field goal and a hook with TCU. TCU minus 3.5 at North Carolina here. My big thing with this game, Nick, is Josh Hoover and that TCU offense. They're scoring 30+. Will North Carolina be able to keep up? I have my doubts. I like TCU here. I like this TCU team. I think they're a real threat in that Big 12. Hoover is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. In North Carolina, like that team is just like, well, what are we doing here? Like there's so much new, and what are they even going to try to do on offense with Gio Lopez at quarterback? I'm going to bet on more of a known commodity and what's been a winning commodity. TCU closed last season really well. Hoover's a really good quarterback, so I'm gonna lay the short price with the Frogs on the road.
Before I share mine, do you have any thoughts on the Sunday game, the Notre Dame Miami? Because there's a lot. There's so much uncertainty with all of these games. I think the most certainty we have between them is LSU Clemson, and that one is my favorite game of the weekend. It's the most fascinating. I feel like you have the most known commodities, and I'm really high on LSU long term, but Clemson feels like they've got a lot higher floor. But Miami Notre Dame is just, Miami played. I mean, it is strength on weakness on both sides, right? Or strength on strength, weakness versus weakness, because Miami couldn't tackle you or me a year ago. But they're going up against the Notre Dame offense, and they're bringing in this new quarterback. And I know Lowe is a good running back, but it's like that's not their deal. Meanwhile, you got Carson Beck and like a pretty good reloaded wide receiver crew. Like you would think that Miami's offense is going to be good, but then Notre Dame's defense, like that one, that screams just something weird is going to happen. And Mario Cristobal is probably going to Cristobal, right?
No feel for the side, but that one screams under to me.
Yeah.
2 defensive head coaches, or 2, kind of under. The weird thing I have is the 2 new defensive coordinators in that matchup. You got to like how it sets up for Miami at home. Carson Beck's your quarterback, Notre Dame's quarterback, who they wanted to start, like couldn't beat out the guy. Like it was all set up for CJ Carr to be the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And like that quarterback battle lasted a long time. And then like the reports out of South Bend were like that Mitchie was better, but they rolled with Carr anyway because he was the bigger, high-profile recruit.
Right.
But I trust Mike Denbrock a lot, their offensive coordinator. I would say just under. Either of those teams gets a lead, they're going to want to run the ball, sit on it a little bit. I would say under there would be my lean.
I'm looking forward to the Carson Beck memes that are going to resurface. Georgia Twitter is going to really get after it. Speaking of Twitters that get
it's a game made for takes. Just the window it's on and the big
Yep.
names and who's involved. Cristobal, Carson Beck,
Yep.
Notre Dame. It's a game made for takes. That's when America's going to find out that Lloyd Carr's grandson is Notre Dame's quarterback. Like it's a game made for takes.
Maybe no more so than Texas and Ohio State, the premier matchup. Big noon kickoff Saturday, number 1 versus number 3. And you and I have talked about it a lot on 11 Personnel, how much we like Texas. Just going into this season in general. I'm not going to do the get up segment on Arch Manning. I mean, it was very funny seeing that in the background today. Them talking about Arch Manning as a draft prospect and all this stuff.
Just wait till Monday or Tuesday, whenever they go live.
My big thing is just like that running game he's got to lean on. Travion Wisner and then CJ Baxter.
Baxter back.
Yeah, like I know Ohio State has Jeremiah Smith, and they've recruited like gangbusters across the board. But they had Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson last year. Like they're just there's more questions between that and then also replacing essentially their entire defensive line. That like I know there's good guys there, your Arvell Reeses of the world, former Kentucky recruit, that should be good, but not to that standard. So I'm taking Texas money line plus 100. Give me hook them. Let's go. Let's get it done. I think that's the right side. Even though it is on the road, it feels like we will be talking about the birth of Arch Manning and into superstardom, even though he probably won't have to do a ton. Like, is he going to have more than 28 pass attempts? I don't think he needs to, run it 10 times, pass it 28 times, complete it 20 times for like 280, and you're good.
The commodities in this game, the known commodities, lean heavily in Texas's favor.
Yeah.
To me, they just got more returning players, stars, Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, on defense. I look at like coordinator continuity. Like Ohio State's running Brian Hartline to call plays and Matt Patricia to call defense out there. Going against Sark and Pete Kwiatkowski, who's been there for a long time and was Chris Peterson's defensive coordinator. I trust the known commodities more. I think Texas line of scrimmage on paper is better than Ohio State. Ohio State offensive line struggled last year. They're totally retooling there. I love that it's a revenge game, right? Like Texas just lost to Ohio State in the national semifinals in a game that went down to the wire, right? Ohio State, as well as they played last year, they needed that goal line stop to beat them. I just trust Texas more. Jeremiah Smith is the best player, but I think after that, Texas has all the known commodities in this game. So I like the Horns. And you look at it, Nick, in the past recently, like Texas has played their best in that first big road game of the season. That's been their best game they've played the last 2 years. Alabama 2 years ago, and then last year, Michigan. Like that's arguably been the best they've played.
They've been ready to go
all year
out the gate.
And Sark is going to have it set up where he's going to give Arch 6 to 7 layups in this game.
Yeah.
With the screen game, with something schemed up. Like, I'd really just trust them.
I mean, you can just imagine Wisner getting a 40-yard gain on a screen for a touchdown, being one of their explosives.
Yeah. So I just trust Texas more in this game, and they will be appearing in the column. I'm taking the plus here in this game. Ohio State just lost a lot. Like, think about that big monkey they got off their back.
Oh, yeah.
Where Texas is kind of knocking on that door, trying to kick it down to win it. I like how everything aligns here for Texas in this matchup.
It's going to be a lot of fun. That's the big noon kickoff that'll happen during the Kentucky-Toledo game, but it'll get over with right around when the Cats are hopefully in cruise control against the Rockets. If you need more, you can check out yesterday's edition of 11 Personnel. We'll be hanging out with you every Thursday, sharing our picks. We've also got a little KSR happy hour right around the corner. So make sure you're locked in to the KSR YouTube channel all football season long. Content coming out your ears and into your eyeballs right here. He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush. Best of luck this weekend. Good luck on all your bets. Let's get some winners, ladies and gentlemen.